Hello, Key Biscayne. My name is Jorge Mendia. I've been a 45-year resident of Key Biscayne, and along with my 4-generational family, I expect to be here for many years to come. I'm talking to you in support of the GEO bond question we will be answering this election. And I'm doing so from what used to be my daughter's bedroom, and it's now my grandkids' playroom. It makes sense to do it here. This is about the future generations. It's about preserving the Key Biscayne lifestyle we've all been accustomed to. One of the things I like about issue elections such as this one is that it gets a lot of people involved who usually don't. And what I find at the end of the day is that a lot of understanding comes to the community through a process like an election like this. As a matter of fact, there's a couple areas where I've already noticed a lot of people coming to agree on things that are very critical to this. First is the obvious. Climate change is happening. Tropical storms, hurricanes are coming more often, and they're definitely stronger. Sea level rise is happening. We already see it. We see more flooding. Our stormwater system is overburdened. It's going to have to be upgraded on either side of Crandon, so that's very important. And knowing this, we all recognize that we're going to have to do some major projects to get mitigation against these challenges. Fortunately, Key Biscayne is up to the task. The second thing I've noticed is the whole concept of a GEO bond. A government obligation bond as a concept was strange to most of us. Some people have been talking about them for a long time as a way to finance future projects. But now, as people get informed, I think most people recognize that it's really the best option for large infrastructure projects like we're talking about. Now, I recognize that the informational campaign and the process leading up to today was not optimal. And that's why many of us former council members are here talking with you, trying to make the case and trying to inform you so that we make a good decision now in November. Having said that, there's still a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation out there. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that. You know, some people have already discussed the whole fallacy of the blank check concept. I'd like to talk about the fallacy of what I'm calling the shovel-ready projects. The narrative goes something like this. If we don't have a shovel-ready project now, why do we need to vote on a bond issue option today? That can happen once the projects are shovel-ready. For a moment there, that sounds like it makes sense, but it really doesn't. The reality is these projects are going to be very complex and are going to require planning in ways that we have not done in the past. Each project will work with the others. They're interrelated. They're not independent projects that can be done one and then another. They should all be planned together in many ways and then staged in a way that makes it create less problems for the community as these projects are constructed. So having said that, we're talking about projects that may cost $20, $30 million. And the planning for them is going to require teams of engineers. It's going to require planners, consultants, staff from the village, and it's going to be very expensive. You know, a project of this nature, the planning component may take a few $1 million, and it'll take months, if not years, to get planned. Why is that important? Because how could we as a community decide to start spending tax dollars to plan on something without knowing how we're going to finance it at the end? That's the part that doesn't make sense. You know, if you spend $3 million to plan a project, and for whatever reason, it doesn't pass the bond question at that moment, what do? Do you just say, okay, we're not doing the project? Or do you go to a bank and borrow from them at a higher rate, at a shorter term, affecting our taxes more? So the whole concept of waiting does not make sense. If it makes sense to use GEO bonds to finance long-term projects like this, then it makes sense to do it now. It's a presidential election, like many have already told you. It is the time that you're going to get the highest turnout. That's critical. Imagine having 6 elections, you know, for GEO bond for each project as they come along. You're going to have to pay for each election. That doesn't make sense. You're going to perhaps have elections in the middle of summer, in the middle of who knows, where there's nobody around voting. You want to do this now. My understanding, my belief actually, is that this is the right time, it's the right project, it's the right election, and we really have a great opportunity before us. We should think of this as an opportunity, not in any way a threat. Voting for this gives us an opportunity to finance projects in the best way possible. So I'm going to ask you to reach out if you have any questions, if there's anything I can do for you as you kind of contemplate this issue. Please feel free to contact me. The village has a very good website. It's vkbresilience.org. Go to it. There's a lot of good information. It doesn't tell you to vote one way or the other. It's just plain information. Google GeoBonds. Google all this. It's actually quite a good plan. So I want to thank you for listening, and I hope to have your vote November 3rd. So good luck on this election season, and I'll see you around. Thank you.